Today I'm going to be talking about my first lucid dream. Hello guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about my first ever lucid dream. Now, I did kind of have lucid dreams before this. This first lucid dream I'm going to tell you about happened when I was like 7 or 8 years old, but I did technically have lucid dreams before this. They were in the form of nightmares, so if you've ever had a nightmare and you tried to wake yourself up from that nightmare, that technically does count as a lucid dream, but I'm going to exclude those today and just tell you about my first actual full-on lucid dream experience. So again, this happened when I was like 7 or 8, and I didn't willingly induce it. It happened spontaneously, but technically the technique that was used was wild or wake-induced lucid dream. So I'm going to tell you about my lucid dream experience, how it happened, and yeah, so let's get into it. So I remember that I had to go to bed early for some reason. My mom sent me to bed early, but I was not tired at all. So I laid in bed for what felt like hours, and I just kept my eyes closed. I just held still, and I was just honestly thinking. I just sat there with my eyes closed and just was thinking. And what always happened to me as a kid was I would see weird colors under my eyes as I was falling asleep, and now that I know that's hypnagogic imagery, but at the time I did not know that's what I was experiencing. And with my eyes closed, I'd be able to move the colors around based on where I was looking. And sometimes, I don't know if you've seen colors falling behind your closed vision, if you move your eyes up, the colors will bounce up and fall again and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I was doing, just with my eyes closed, just kind of playing with these colors that I was seeing for a while. And then all of a sudden they started to get very, very, very colorful and vivid. And I remember just sitting there, just, looking at them, kind of messing around with the colors, trying to change them. I would think of shapes and manifest those shapes under my eyes. And I would basically just mess with this hypnagogic imagery all the time, even though I didn't really know that's what it was technically. I started to see full images, me walking down a street or a park or a family eating dinner, or these random images that the hypnagogic imagery would create, and I would just sit there and watch them. And then all of a sudden my body started to get very, very heavy, and as you know, this is the start to sleep paralysis, but I didn't know that at the time. I just kind of was like, oh, that's interesting, and just kind of kept my eyes closed and just wanted to see what happened after that. So my body started to get heavy, and I started to get tingling all over. I got a couple itches, and as you guys know, that's called the rollover signal. It's basically your body saying, hey, are you awake? I didn't respond to it. I just sat there laying down because I was honestly just too lazy. And again, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. I didn't know what a lucid dream was. I was just enjoying the sensations I was feeling and enjoying the colors I was feeling, and just was experiencing this really for the first time. This was really the first time I've ever experienced sleep paralysis, and all of a sudden it went bam, it just hit me, my body got super, super heavy, and I felt the vibrations really strongly. And you think that I would freak out being 7 and not being able to move and just feeling this really big pressure on my chest, but honestly I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought it was kind of interesting. And also I noticed at this point that the colors started to get really, really vivid, so I didn't want to move and mess it up. I thought this was really interesting, and I always looked at the hypnagogic imagery under my eyes, so I just thought it was part of the process. I really didn't think that much of it, so I was just concentrating on the colors. And all of a sudden these colors started to form into an actual place, and I remember how it happened. I was just watching these colors, and all of a sudden it turned into a beach, and all of a sudden I was on a boat. That was my first ever lucid dream, was I just appeared on a boat. So I went directly from the waking state into a lucid dream, which is called wild or wake-induced lucid dream. I basically let my body go through the process of going to sleep, going through sleep paralysis, and into the dreaming state while I stayed conscious the whole time. So as soon as I got lucid and the colors opened up, I was on a boat, and it was the most vivid thing that you've ever seen. And I was I was like, what the hell? Am I in a dream? Because the nightmares, I didn't really think too much of them. The ones that I had before, I was like, oh, I gotta wake up. I didn't really think oh my god, I'm in a dream. it was too, the fear takes away a lot of the awareness that you have with the actual dream. So when I realized that I was actually conscious in the dream, it was mind-blowing because it was so vivid. I could feel the temperature of the water. I could hear the splashes of the water. It was beautiful. It looked like I was in like Costa Rica or Hawaii or something. It was like perfectly white beaches, crystal blue water. The sky was completely clear, and I was just on this little like canoe thing by myself. And it's weird because I've had this dream several times actually. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a dream of a place that you've never seen before and you recognize it. You're like, oh wait, I've been here before. It's like dream memory or something. I've dreamt of that same place many, many times after that, which is super interesting. And I have many dreams that are kind of like that, which is interesting. But I remember like paddling to shore, and like you could feel the sand, you could feel everything super clear. And I was like, wait, okay, so if I'm dreaming, then that means I can basically do whatever I want and manifest whatever I want, right? And this was like a fully lucid dream. Like, there's levels in the lucid dream of like how much control you have based on how much awareness you have. And the dream was crystal clear. The dream was very colorful, and the dream was very vivid. And so I had a high level of control at the time. Many call this a level 4 or a level 5 lucid dream because it's very clear, very crisp, and you can actually manifest things just by intending for it to happen. And this usually happens with practice, but since I had such a high level of awareness going into the dream state, that's why I had kind of a higher level of control. And I remember the first thing that I manifested was a cupcake. I don't know why, but I was like, okay, since I'm lucid dreaming or I'm in a dream, then this means that I can manifest whatever I want to. So I remember holding out my hand and I thought of a cupcake, and a cupcake appeared. And I was like, wow, what the hell? Like, I was so blown away that this was even possible. And I remember taking a bite of the cupcake, and it was like tastier than any cupcake or literally anything I've had in my entire life. I was only 7 at the time, so I guess in my 7 years of experience, that was like the best cupcake I've ever had. But it's crazy how vivid and clear the experience was, especially for being my first like actual lucid dream. And it is because I went through Wild, but I thought it would be really interesting to share that with you. Usually Wild takes some practice to get. It's technically more of an advanced technique, but it really just depends on your awareness and the stage of sleep you're in, and there's a lot of variables to it. But a Wild can definitely be your first experience in a lucid dream, and it can be a very vivid experience as well. So I want to just share that with you, just to tell you about my first experience with it. And it was kind of interesting since I had sleep paralysis along with that experience, and just the level of control I had and how real it seemed is what was the most mind-blowing to me, and that I was able to just manifest something. And the whole lucid dream world was so foreign to me at the time, so it was really mind-blowing that I was able to do this, and it felt like a superpower. And I still think lucid dreams are in a way like a superpower because you're getting conscious in your dreams and you're able to explore anything you want. That's super dope to me, and I still think that way about lucid dreams. Every time I have a lucid dream, I'm still that excited because it never gets old. I've had hundreds of lucid dreams, and it seriously never gets old. But I wanted to tell you guys about the first experience that I had with it. And for some reason, I'm sure you guys have had this as well. If you've ever had like an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream, you might forget about it the next day, which happened to me with this one. But then later, like, I started to like go into, like, I would fall asleep or take a nap or something and go into sleep paralysis, and all of a sudden I would see like a scenery, and it was like the start to a movie where there's music and it was showing over the mountains, and I'd wake up like, holy what was that? I like went to another dimension. What was that? And so that started happening a lot. I started to have these weird experiences where I would be fully somewhere else consciously, and I didn't know that it was, a lucid dream at the time until I started to look into it. And so I got into all of this at a very young age. And so I'm really happy that I took the initiative to look into it, because imagine if I was just like, oh well, and I just ignored it. Like, oh my god, I'm missing out on so many experiences, right? So I'm really glad that I had that experience, and that I had to go to bed early for some reason that night so I could have that experience. And I feel like it helped lead me to where I am now. because now I'm a lucid dream and out-of-body experience coach full-time, and I practice this extensively, and I help so many people experience this and do a lot of deep work in these states. So I feel like it kind of planted the seed for everything else that I would be doing with this practice. So I really just thought it was important to share that with you, and I know a lot of you wanted to hear my experience, so I hope it was entertaining. I hope you got something from this, and I hope it encouraged you to know that you don't have to practice for like years and years or even just months to get a wild lucid dream. You know, anybody can have these experiences. And if you guys have any questions about inducing a lucid dream or anything, definitely leave the comments down below, and I will be sharing more of my lucid dream experiences in the future, and I'll also be doing a lot of technique videos in the future. So if there's anything specifically that you want to see, definitely leave it in the comments, and I will provide what you guys want to see, because you know, this isn't just about me. I want to build a community around what you guys need and want to see as well. So leave your comments down below if you have any experiences you want to share and what else you want to see on this channel in the future. Alright guys, and that is all for me today. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to learn how to lucid dream in 30 days or less, make sure to check out my 40-part lucid dreaming video course. It is in the description of this video. You get a free one-on-one session with me. You get added to my lucid dreaming community, so you have all the support from my community and myself as you move through the course, and you get a free hour binaural beats astral travel / lucid dream induction meditation to help you on your journey. So if that interests you, definitely let me know, and I would love to work with you in the future. Alright my friends, thanks so much for joining. I love you all so much, and as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.